Hey guys, let's do some audio check first. Can you guys hear me well? How's the sound? Please, please give us some feedback. Okay, okay. Um, yeah, let's see. We have about 40 people, almost 50 people here now. Yeah, this is our first live stream, so took us a bit of time to set it out and making sure the sound's good. And let me wait a little bit and wait like 2 3 minutes to get more people in, and then we'll start. All right. And this is our printing room, so you can see there's let me get behind, and there's there's one more on this side, so there's like actually 5 printers here. Uh, we don't actually recommend you put 3 printers running at full speed on a single table. It's gonna shake pretty bad. Um, but yeah, okay. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll make sure everyone who wants to come in and get in, I'll start. Let's see some questions. I see from Craig. Um, all right. We will start going once we hit 50. All right. There's a print going on right now. There's actually 5 prints going on right now. And um, I can actually pause this one and restart. Okay. You know what? I'll start now. Let me start from the beginning. Hi, my name is Mark Penn. I'm the founder of Peopoly. Uh, and sorry, my guys try to tell me something here. 我在 intro 你就打到了。Yeah. Yeah. So, hi, I'm Mark Penn. I'm the founder of Peopoly, and some of you might have seen me in some of the videos in the past. I was in Oxford, UK last weekend, and we are supposed to do a live print demo at the show. And we were into some problems with the low cell sensor. I'll get into more of that later, and also kind of give you an update on the production and where the project stands at. So that's what it. And as you can see, my voice is a pretty still pretty low. This is not my usual voice. If you couldn't hear me well, yeah, you can ask me to repeat it again in the chat, or you can send me an email later. I see today. So today's agenda will be kind of give you an overview where we are right now, the things that we are the things that we are looking to accomplish before we start shipping. Also, quickly give you some quick demo, um, and then finally, I think a big part of the live stream will be kind of like a question and answer. So I'll get some questions from you. We'll do our best to answer your questions. If we couldn't answer right away, we'll follow up in kind of in a blog post in the email that way. So that's our plan. All right. First thing first, pause and cancel the plan. This one right at the back, and then that way we can start it from fresh. Okay. I think that's what a lot of people want to see. Let me put my headset down. Hold on. Give me a few minutes. So I'm gonna pause and cancel this print and then start over again. We started the print so that the batch everything's heated. So we don't have to wait during the live stream. Now we start the print again. So the bed is almost heated, and we're gonna start the print quickly. Let me read it. Maybe we should lower the camera a little bit. Yeah, Tina can lower it a little bit so that people can see. Yeah. So that is now 50. We're printing PLA CF at the moment, and each scooter is at the temperature. So, okay, it's gonna start now. Okay, it starts. Now it's gonna home. Lower a little bit, Tina. So now it's laying down the first layer. Okay, so it's laying down the first layer. So first layer is printing at 80 millimeter per second, and once it goes beyond the first two layers, it's going to speed up much quicker. Okay, so it's laying down the first layer, and I want to talk a little bit about where we are with the production. We have all the parts in. What we are really working on right now is to make sure there's printing consistency in our in all the mass produced ones, and that's kind of where we are right now. We see some variation with the print quality and want to make sure they are consistent across the board. So that's the first thing we are working on. That's the primary things we're working on with production. And the second thing is that we want to make sure, you know, once the printer gets into our user's hand, if let's say something is not working and we need to replace a part, that can be done easily, meaning that we can say you perhaps a PCB board or whatnot, and you can just drop in without, going through a lot of calibrations and try to make it work. And what this means that there should be, which is related to the first point, is that there has to be a good consistency, across, each printer. So it's one thing to dial in one single printer and make it print really well. It's another thing to actually have, 200-300 printers going out at the same time, all printing at, good qualities, and their parts can be swappable. And that's really important, for, I think, for our users and for good customer support. The first layer, once over there, you'll go a lot faster. Yeah, I see Uncle Jess here. I see a couple of familiar names. Yeah, we weren't able to do printing as smooth because the low cell sensor. So I feel it's important for me to get back in here and really do a live printing to make up for it. I know a lot of our users been waiting to see the printers in action, and we've been doing a lot of printing in-house, but it's also important to show you guys exactly where we are. While this is going on, hey, Tina, I'll hand this. Hold it. Yeah. So on this side, you can see the enclosed one. The panel is still not fully finished, but I can see the enclosed one. We're going to be using this one to test ABS, ASA. And there's two more on that same table. It's also printing. And as soon as the one in front of us, past the first couple layers, it's going to speed up much quicker. Yeah. Yeah, like here. Yes, people want to see this. Hi, Greg. I noticed a question about shipping dates. And right now we're still on schedule to begin shipping, meaning handing to our shippers on December 15th. But we want to, we want to make sure this is, the consistency part we talked about earlier. We should, kind of dial that in before we, let the assembling goes. The assembling, once you have all the parts, the assembling portion actually goes really fast. It's like 3 days. It's really the preparation leading up to it and say, hey, okay, this is ready to go, and that's the kick it. That's actually the part that takes the most of the time. I see Nathan in here. I also see Daniel here. There's a question. There's a request to see from top down. Let me do my best to fulfill that request. 他想要从上往下看。So, guys, bear with me, alright? 我把这个那个 所以你可以帮我确认一下。No, 碰到，你不能碰到这些。guys, we good here? Okay, all right. Sorry, now we lost you. So we from top down. And let me see if I can focus better. From top down, and let's see if I can focus better. So first it's a little bit slower. It's 100. Once we got past that, it'll be quicker. Let's see. How many about focus? It doesn't focus very closely. Yeah. Hey guys, let's push it back. 那个我们放回去吧。拿下来。这个床多大？这个床多厚？这个床5毫米的铝板，然后5毫米的那个加热这个铝板，然后有5毫米的那个铝板。Okay. 我写给你们。So the back thickness is about 8 millimeter. It's actually two 5 millimeter aluminum plate for heating, and there's a 3 millimeter layer on the top. We are not using any input shaping on it. Okay, so now the speed starts to pick up. You can see it's farther now. Yeah. This question about why are we using 4 independent z-axis? Well, we felt that's the best way to get a good leveling, and sure, we would like to see some advanced slicing in the future where as somewhat printing might be able to tilt the print a little bit with the 4 z-axis and use that support, but the software slices is not there yet, so we're not promoting that as a feature because there's no such widely available slicer for that yet. So no input shaping. We actually found it makes pretty much no difference with printing. I think the full film is very rigid. The input shaping doesn't help in this, in terms of reducing any bendings or whatnot. The pressure event does help. Yeah, I should put it on the floor, but it will be kind of hard to see, right? And also, I think a lot of you will be printing on a table instead of on the floor. So this is a more realistic way to show you printing because, of course, if you need the maximum stability, putting it on the floor is the best. And yeah. A question about does it have an accelerator in the tool head? It does. It does have an accelerator in the tool head. Yeah, and that's how we can test the input shaping. It just doesn't improve the profile much rather. Yeah. This is a question from more like about low cell sensor to have a continuous flow management. Let me check with my engineers. Yeah. 他说那个像 A1 那种 low cell sensor 可以确定稳定的提出。OK，有计划吗？还是还没有？For the flow cells sensor question for continuous flow management, it's not we don't have that. Well, we haven't developed that yet. I think we'll really have to get the production through and think about it. I think the hardwares are there, but developing that software and also integrated with Clipper will take time. Can we see the camera view? Are there lights? Yeah. Let me see. 这台有接天网吗？哦，没有接天网。This one doesn't have the closest one that we're showing here doesn't have the camera that doesn't have a camera installed yet. Hold on, Tina, I'm gonna pull back a little bit. Yeah. Get a little bit about it. So you get a bigger perspective on that. Yeah. So the flow rate right now is it's hitting 20 at a time. I think we could actually go quite a bit higher. And we found out even printing at 700 millimeter per second, we could get good layer adhesion with selective filament. Not all filament can go that high, but we have printed at a much higher speed. Okay. Oh, hold on, my team trying to tell me something. 有人问 bus 是吧？这是 bus. Someone asked about tool heads. What kind of bus? This is running on CAN bus. So there's a couple requests about clear panels. We'll jot that down and we'll follow up. The reason for smoky one is because I think it's for I can't recall. There was a reason we select that color, but I'll put it. I'll follow up on the block. Yeah. Let's see. So there's a question about heating issues with electronics in below. Let me confirm that with my on my team. Yeah. 就是他担心我们的那个这下面的那个会不会因为温度而造成电子的不稳定？这里面有没有3个系统？但是他说现在他担心这里面如果风的话，会不会造成那个？就是他说这里的热会不会影响到下面的稳定性？那3个很快对吧？下面有风扇。So for the electronics beneath the printer, there's actually 3 fans in there. In addition, because it's foam aluminum plate, we actually display the heat pretty quickly. So the heat will not build up to affect the performance of electronics. So a lot of questions coming. We'll do our best to answer as it goes. If we missed it, we'll actually go back to the string and pick up ones we didn't, and we'll summarize in a block. All right. So don't get concerned if your question didn't get answered quickly. So there's a question about support lifespan. So the past warranty on this was 1 year, but we can intend to support this printer for 5 years. So we'll continue to develop that, and also since it's using open source firmware, it will grow with the firmware as well. And during development of the printers, we actually learn quite a few things about the Clipper firmware and also from the Clipper team as well. We have actually some ideas where we could contribute back to the Clipper firmware. Yeah. So spare parts you could buy at Rider Shipping, actually pretty much all the parts. We'll start extra electronics in the overseas warehouse, so local warehouse. So if you need replacements, we can send drop-in replacement quite quickly. This is a question about linear motors being able to purchase separately. Not at the moment because the linear motor, this set of linear motors kind of custom and dialing for this specific arrangement, and also the weight of the, it's dialing for the weight of the extruders. But we are working on, after this production and shipping, we want to start building a kind of like a community version of linear motor, where a lot of the APIs access to it will be open, and users can kind of customize it for other users. Now, there's a question about the pre-orders. You guys are first adopters, and we're very grateful for that. And now, the question is that what happens if there's a big improvement? Later on, what will happen to you guys? I think that's a very fair question. In fact, that's kind of what's been what has been holding us back in terms of shipping, because we want to make sure we got everything as much in as possible for you guys. Now, if there's a big improvement along the line of Magneto X, we will freely upgrade your Magneto X to that. Yeah. Now, it doesn't mean that okay, we have if there's an index system come out, you'll be free upgrade to index. But let's say if there's a better drivers or better controllers, we will upgrade you. And we really appreciate you trusting us for making the pre-orders. Oh, the heater question. Let me check. For the heated questions, I think it will become. I just spoke with my engineers. It will become available next month. Yeah, it will be open for order next month. We have a build. We just really haven't time to finalize this, and I don't want to start taking pre-orders until we have something built to get tested. But the holes on the for the power supply for the heaters, there'll be pre-zero holes on the panels, so that once you get the heaters laid down, you can easily add it without having to make holes yourself. I think someone asked for about slicer. Our official supporters slicer is Orca slicer, and we actually as I think the first official sponsor for the team, and we will add profiles on there, so you can just download and add our printer on that. You don't have to do you don't have to manually enter in much. We'll have some pre-existing profiles for you. Um, I'm not sure what you meant by Orca and Clipper work upstream soon, but if it means that if there's any additional, if we make any changes to our printers or to the code, we be, I guess, bring up to be merged to the main branch. I think that will be true. Yeah, if we make any contribution to either the slicer or the Clipper, we'll definitely make it publicly available. A question about nozzle, how to change nozzle. So the way you change the nozzle is that, let me see if I can grab a spare one here. Okay, well, this. So the way you change slicer is you take remove 那个 silicon 嘛 Yeah, yeah. Hold on, let me remove the silicon of the so I can show you a quick way. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me see. So okay. So let me see if I can get a better look. So this is the cold side hot end, and we actually have an additional disk in the middle. So basically, the way let's say you have a jam or whatnot, the best way to do is actually there's three screws here. You can quickly remove and take the hot end, the melt zone, and the nozzle out. Then you swap another one in, you keep printing, and then you can figure out how you wanna, how to clear this on the side while the printer keeps working. And we figure this, we don't want you to kind of work on the nozzle while it's on the extruder. It's going to mess with the leveling. It's kind of dangerous. And this will make things a lot easier to swap and keep working. Um, the So the nozzle is actually we're using standard E3D V6 volcano. So if you have any volcanoes, you can just drop in easily. You don't have to make any special modification. Now it might affect the flow rate, so you probably have to do some flow rate tests and maybe have to change some size of changes. But in terms of the length, you'll be fine. Sorry, guys. So how easy is this printer to be modifiable? I think on the extruder side, you can play with a lot of nozzles, and we are creating this open CAD file for the extruder so that, and we've been talking to E3D and Size Engineering about them also making third-party hot ends and melt zones and code size for this printer. So you will not be locked into our own extruder designs. So on that side, it's modelable. On the motion system side, I don't think it's very modelable because all the drivers, the system rigidity is kind of built around of that. In terms of adding in additional accessory to LEDs and to USB port, I think that's a very doable thing. Uh, and I think that's where you can really have some fun with that. Yeah. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about the low cell, and this kind of goes back to what happened at Smurf too. So the reason we were all ready to print at Smurf. I was not feeling well, but I was ready to go. I got everything set up. The reason why we didn't print was on the setup line. Um, the main grid, the wall socket kind of blew up on our printer, and after that the low cell sensor was not giving correct reading, so we weren't able to level with low cell sensor at that situation. And I was not able to reset the low cell sensor at the show. I attempted, the first half of the day, the first half the first half of the first day, the top half of the first day, that I tried to do that, and along with my teammates' help, I just couldn't reset it. And then I tried to reset it live, and somehow shorted the ball. And that's why we weren't able to print as smooth. And that kind of really leads to us to redesign that low cell sensor uh, PCB board. That weekend. While I was in London, my team back home, they started redesigning because it has to be have a better way to reset that low cell sensor in case something doesn't, in case it's reading our parameters, and that we now have an updated version of low cell sensor boards for that, and we feel it's performed much more consistently, and we have tested on a wide variety of situations. Uh, Now, the way because leveling is critical for printing at this speed, whatever the third party add on the extruders has to work with our low cell. So when we release that CAD file, the idea was actually for them, either E3D, Science Engineering, or perhaps other brands. It has to work within the configuration of the, work with the current low cell sensor set up so that it will work. I don't want a situation where you switch to a different a third party extrusion systems, and then suddenly you have to do manual leveling. That's just not going to work. That's just not going to work very well. And I believe there's a question about having low cell sensor become uh, how does the Clipper firmware interact with our low cell sensor? Right now, we haven't made any special change to Clipper firmware in terms of low cell sensor, and I know currently I believe those Clipper doesn't support low cell sensor like the full rating directly. So the Clipper firmware sees our low sensor more like a probe, and so you will get kind of like on or off. Uh, Sorry, my team is trying to stop me to say, hold on. 你可以说话。 Actually, my engineer just informed me that we actually developed a Clipper plugin for the low cell sensor. This way, the Clipper firmware will be able to know the status of the low cell sensor, able to reset it and whatnot. And you know, this will actually become publicly available as we launch the the custom table design, we did not able to test it as smooth, but it was there. I'll show you some additional picture. It's very sturdy. It's extremely sturdy, and there were quite a few people came by and kind of talk about how it's actually difficult to find a good table for printing, and and I think it was a good decision to make that, and we will make that become option that you can acquire. Now, the easiest way you can put it on the floor is it's a very stable way to print. And a lot of tables, if it's a smaller, sturdier table, you will print fine, even though if you shake a little bit, I don't think it will affect the print quality.为什么这个这么慢呢、Oh, right now it's going slow because it's doing some kind of ironing. Yeah, it's doing an ironing function. Yeah. Huh. Econ Pro. Let me ask about the interference. 那个，嗯，他说这个磁铁会不会影响那个 Sorry. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I was checking. It's actually doing the ironing, so that's why it's slow. And thanks for letting me know the sound is gone. There are actually LED lights inside the enclosure. Hold on, let me. 我现在可以了，现在可以了。那个 So there's actually an LED on the enclosure. 有声音吗？ Hey guys, just no audio? Huh? Okay. Are we good? So there is actually LED on the enclosures. The enclosure, it's over there. Let me see if I can get a closer shot. I'm all hooked up here, so let me figure out a way. Give me a minute, all right? see. 有声音吗？Okay. The enclosure, the one with the enclosure is actually printing, so I can't really open. I can't really open it up. Yeah. Um, I have the engineer working on that. Yeah, I think the live stream is long overdue. We should be on this a lot earlier. Um, yeah, as I mentioned, we have the parts, but and it's really I feel it's like the last 3% of the journey where we want to make sure okay, we can have consistency across the board, and the parts can be easy swapped to have the same print quality, and that's where we're working on right now. So the printer has OLED. I'm muted. How about this? Is it better? It doesn't show muted on my side, but can you guys hear me? Okay, great. So we do say I should build when we build this kit, we actually this printer we actually see it in a print farm because this you don't need to tension the belt anything. You don't need to tension the belts, and we see it running. You know, what we want to build is actually a printer you can just throw filament inside there without touching anything else for a couple months. Instead, try to dial in frequently. Uh, with that said, we learned the leveling and some of the kind of checks is quite frequently is needed, and so that's and also in a print farm setting, let's say you have four of them in a row on a single shelf, how would that work? We actually haven't really tested out. And that's something we actually have a question about it too. And because it's moving when it's moving fast, it's moving at considerable force. And if you have four of them, especially if they're opening in the same file, the force might be synchronized in some way. And how do you kind of deal with that? The base plate. Which 15 service shipping is usually about 5 weeks to local warehouse, and then from local warehouse to end users, it's about I'll use US as example. Depending on where you at, it's usually 3 to 7 days. The question about standalone and to make the door solid, I think that's an interesting suggestion. We'll definitely look into that. I'll mark that and we can look into it. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for all of you coming by. The, yeah. I'll answer some of the questions. This room that we actually use this room uh, for building our models. So just give you a quick sneak. on this side. You can see some of the models there getting ready for send to production. We don't build the printer in this side. On this side, we do the assembling. We're going to do the assembling of the printer on the other side. And this side is for engineering and for building up motors. And a common question we get at the show is the trade show is that how do we get the linear motor price, a printer with linear motor price down to this level? And the answer to that is we actually have to build our own linear motors and also the magnetic strip readers so that we can cut down our own costs. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's kind of it. After this one is done, I'll take a picture and I'll send to you guys, share online, both on Twitter and Discord. I think I kind of covered most of the topics I want to talk about. And we'll probably end the stream in a couple minutes. But if you have questions, follow-up questions you want to ask, or I missed your questions, you can email us to support@Peopoly, and also we will review the streams chat and make sure we catch everything. All right. My voice is kind of going out, so I'm not sure how long I can keep talking, but I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys taking your evening and spending with us. Yes, I got some of the requests. Okay, I think this is it. Okay, one last question. 400C high end. Not yet, but we are working on 350C high end. I think that will cover quite a bit more material. Yeah, let's do one final look at it. I'll hand it to Tina. See, yeah, see, a little bit after. Got it. There you go. I mean, hold on. Something with the cable. Okay. Let me stand up. Yeah. So it's iron at the top. Uh, yeah, and let me do it down there. Yeah, it's doing the iron, so it's not stupid. Just suppose we really haven't measured it. When the fan turns on at 100, it's too loud. But even for high-speed printing, you don't need to go at 100%. Yeah. And let me just give you a quick look at the back. So see those guys are listening. Yeah. And the one on the side, so that one will be used to do IBS testing. All right, guys, and those are the motors over there. We got rows of that at the back too. This is just one of the left. All right. Thank you. I think this is kind of we'll reach the end of the streams. I'll follow back on the chat and make sure I cover the questions and requests. And this is not going to be the only live stream. We'll do more live streams down the road, but probably not next week, but the week after. All right. In the meantime, please send us emails and whatnot and we'll follow up in the chat as well. Thank you, and thank you guys for coming, and have a great day.